My name is Andrew Carter, and I was the kind of man who didn't make waves. For most of my life, I believed in doing things the right way. Show up early, stay late, shake hands, be polite, fix problems, make your numbers, don't gossip, don't step on toes. And for 13 years, that worked, until it didn't. At 42, I was a regional operations manager for a large logistics firm based out of Denver. I wasn't flashy, I didn't play politics, but I knew my territory inside and out, and I ran a tight ship. My warehouse network was one of the top performing regions in the company. I trained my team myself, built processes from the ground up, and kept things running so smoothly corporate barely had to think about us. They loved that, until they met Travis Meyer. Travis was everything I wasn't. Young, loud, overconfident, and politically wired. He came in as a consultant, which is corporate speak for someone with no practical experience and an expensive education. He was maybe 30. Harvard or Wharton or one of those places where they teach you to say things like value proposition and scalability, while people nod and pretend you're a genius. I still remember the first time I saw him. He was wearing a blazer with jeans and no socks, hair styled like he was in a commercial for expensive toothpaste. He shook my hand like he was doing me a favor and said, "So, you're the legendary Andrew Carter." I should have known right then. Travis wasn't there to learn. He was there to take. At first it was subtle. He'd copy me on emails to corporate, then forward those threads with his own spin added in. He'd ask questions in meetings that made me sound out of touch. "What's our AI integration plan for Q3?" Even though he knew damn well we didn't have one. He took credit for things my team had already implemented, but in shinier language. My warehouse-level efficiency tracker became Meyer's Ops Visibility Framework. And it worked. The VPs loved him. They called him disruptive. Said he was a fresh voice. Started inviting him to meetings I wasn't even told about. I tried to be professional. I gave him space, offered help, even defended him when some of the team started grumbling. I thought he'd get bored and move on. But Travis wasn't just climbing, he was digging. And I didn't see how deep until it was too late. It started with an unexpected call from HR. They said they wanted to touch base about some performance concerns. I was confused. My numbers were solid, my team was stable. But when I walked into the room, it wasn't just HR. Legal was there. So was a senior VP I'd never met in person. They had a file. Pages of emails, messages, reports, all twisted, all taken out of context. Missed deadlines I'd flagged in advance. Budget overruns that happened because Travis changed vendor terms behind my back. Comments I'd made in private chats that looked different when printed in bold black ink. At the top of the pile, a recommendation memo from Travis Meyer. He said I was stuck in old patterns, that I resisted innovation, that I created a hostile environment for upwardly mobile talent. I was stunned. I tried to defend myself, but they weren't listening. The decision had already been made. They offered me 2 months of severance if I signed a release that day. When I didn't answer fast enough, they added a line about a non-disparagement clause, legalese for shut up and walk away. I signed, not because I was guilty, but because I was blindsided, humiliated, angry. And stupidly, I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. 3 days later, I came home early from a job interview to find Travis's car in my driveway. I stood there for a long time. Then I walked in and found them, Travis and Emily, sitting on my goddamn couch drinking wine. She didn't even flinch. She just looked at me and said, "We were going to talk to you about this." I didn't answer. Couldn't. I left without a word. And a week later, she filed for divorce. The divorce moved fast. Too fast. She already had a lawyer. She already had a plan. Turns out when you marry someone for 12 years and give them access to your entire life, they know exactly which arteries to cut. Emily got the house. She got the joint savings. She even got Max, our golden retriever, by convincing the judge that my temporary housing wasn't dog-friendly. I was living in a shitty one-bedroom apartment above a nail salon. It smelled like acetone and broken dreams. Worst of all, she got sympathy. Her friends, the yoga moms, the wine night crew, bought the whole thing. That I was distant, cold, emotionally unavailable. They didn't care about the timeline, that she was already seeing Travis while we were married, that she never once mentioned counseling, that she didn't even ask for more, she just moved on. To them, she was finding herself. To me, she was finishing the execution job. And Travis, he took my job. My title, my team. He even got my goddamn office. Same desk, same view, same stupid fern in the corner I'd been keeping alive since 2014. Only now it was lit up on his LinkedIn profile, where he proudly called himself Regional Director of Strategic Logistics Innovation. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I wanted to burn it all down, but I didn't. Instead, I waited. Because revenge done right doesn't come from rage, it comes from focus. And I had nothing but time. At first, I just watched. Social media was easy. Travis was a narcissist. He posted everything. New title, new car, new vision board photos of leadership offsites, and overpriced cocktails. Emily started showing up in his photos too. Aspen, Cabo, Miami. She wore tight dresses and fake smiles and captioned everything with hashtags like Chog New Chapter and You Wait Healing. Meanwhile, I was rebuilding my life from scratch. I picked up contract work, warehouse consulting, delivery optimization gigs, whatever paid. Nothing permanent. Nothing with benefits. But enough to keep the lights on. Enough to pay the alimony. And as I worked, I watched. Because you learn a lot just by paying attention. Travis had weaknesses, patterns. He overpromised, cut corners, lied with confidence, and assumed no one would double-check. He was everything corporate America rewards, and everything that gets it burned to the ground. I just had to hand him the match. It started with a shell company. I called it Midstate Flowtech, sounded vaguely real. I spent $300 to register it in Nevada, where no one asked too many questions. Built a website, hired a freelancer to make a pitch deck, bought a burner phone and registered an email under the name Ben Wallace. Then I sent an email directly to Travis, said I was looking for emerging regional logistics partners for a rollout pilot in Colorado. Mentioned I was exploring procurement channels and had a discretionary fund for executive incentives. He replied in less than 30 minutes. Ben, great timing. Let's hop on a call this week. I love building bridges. God, I could hear his smile through the screen. The first call was all posturing. He name-dropped people I knew were retired. Talked about disruptive growth modeling like he understood it. Told me, or rather told Ben, that he could fast-track vendor onboarding if we kept things off the books during the pilot phase. I said that sounded interesting. He said he liked interesting. We set another call. Over the next 3 weeks, I played him like a violin. I sent him fake specs, fake NDAs, a fake contract with a line item that literally said Executive Referral Commission, $18,500. He signed it, not through his company email, through Gmail, and I kept everything. Emails, call recordings, screenshots of his signatures, but I didn't stop there. Because this wasn't just about catching him. It was about ending him. I hired a private investigator named Harmon. Quiet guy, military background, looked like someone who could disappear in a crowd. I gave him one task: dig up everything on Travis. Within 2 weeks, I had more than I could have hoped for. Travis had been running side deals with vendors. Small stuff at first. Kickbacks for early approvals, rushed payments, padded invoices. But it added up. Tens of thousands over the course of a year. All undocumented. All traceable if someone looked in the right place. Worse? He was cheating on Emily. With 2 women. One of them worked for him. There were messages, photos, hotel bookings under aliases. One particularly damning email in which he used a company credit card to reserve a private wellness retreat and wrote it off as a leadership expense. Now I had everything. Fraud. sexual misconduct, financial abuse of company resources. All I had to do was choose the moment. I waited until Q4 performance reviews, the time of year when the board takes a hard look at leadership when budgets are finalized, bonuses decided, and reputations polished or shredded. I prepared a package, anonymous return address, plain manila envelope. Inside, a USB stick labeled Compliance Urgent. On it, every email between Travis and Ben Wallace. The fake contract he signed screenshots of private Gmail messages discussing referral commissions, a timeline of vendor kickback payments tied to shell companies. Photos from Harmon, Travis, and his subordinate entering a hotel, 9:47 p.m. A second set of photos, Travis with a different woman, same week, different hotel expense reports that didn't match company logs, copies of HR complaints filed by junior staff, quietly closed with no follow-up, a one-page summary titled, Pattern of Unethical and Illegal Behavior, Travis Meyer. I mailed 3 copies, one to the CEO, one to the Internal Audit Department, one to the General Counsel's office. And then I waited. It didn't take long. By Thursday, Travis's LinkedIn went silent. By Monday, his profile was gone. No public statement, no farewell post, no next chapter announcement. Just deleted. I checked the company website. His photo was gone. The contact page changed. A generic interim leadership title replaced his name. I called Harmon, asked what he'd heard. He said Travis was escorted out of the office in front of 3 other managers, HR, legal, and security. His computer was seized. There were whispers of a full audit. Maybe a lawsuit. Possibly criminal charges, depending on what else the company uncovered when they dug deeper. But I wasn't done. Emily still had a spotless reputation, still smiled into cameras, still posted old photos of mountain hikes and beach trips and captions like, "So grateful for this life." But Travis had been her ticket, the lifestyle, the status, the money, and now he was gone. So I turned my attention to her. I created a new identity, not for myself this time, for someone she'd trust. Her world was small, mostly upper-middle-class suburban women who spent their time between yoga classes and Facebook groups like Cherry Hills Moms and Divorced But Glowing. I made a profile, Marissa Collins, divorced mom of 2, recently moved from Austin, graphic designer looking to network. Attractive but not threatening. Just enough personal tragedy in her backstory to draw sympathy. I joined the same groups, started commenting on Emily's posts, complimented her outfits, agreed with her opinions on everything from almond milk to men. Within 2 weeks, Emily was messaging me. "Do you live near the Trader Joe's on Spear? Want to grab coffee this weekend?" Ugh, dating after 40 is such a circus. I kept it light, supportive, friendly. And then one night, I messaged her as Marissa and asked, "Hey, do you ever think about getting remarried?" Her answer came fast. "Maybe. I've been seeing someone amazing lately. Very low-key, not flashy. Exactly what I need after all the drama." She sent a photo. His name was Douglas Whitmore. I recognized him. He owned commercial real estate all over Denver. Widowed. Donated to city parks and private schools. Big on family values. He'd been profiled in a local business magazine as Denver's most trusted developer. I dug deeper. He had 2 daughters. One worked for a law firm. The other was engaged to a dentist. Clean background, no scandals. He was the kind of man who valued stability, who'd never tolerate a partner with a history like Emily's. So I told him. I mailed a package directly to his office. No threats, no lies, just documentation. Photos of Emily and Travis together while I was still married to her. Screenshots of her messages to Travis that overlapped with our marriage. Copies of her blog posts plagiarized from Pinterest and other influencers. Anonymized comments from former friends about her manipulating custody hearings and emotionally unstable behavior. A timeline of events from when she met Travis to when my life was dismantled. One note inside. Before you give her your last name, you should know the truth about the one she erased. I didn't include my name. Didn't have to. Emily's Instagram went dark for 4 days. When it came back, all the posts with Douglas were gone. No photos, no comments, not even a story. A week later, she posted a quote. Some people fear strong women. I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. That was all. No explanation. No mention of Douglas. Just another victim-tinged motivational line to feed her own ego. But I knew what it meant. Another mask had cracked. A few weeks passed. Emily tried to pivot, rebrand. She changed her bio to life coach in progress, helping women rediscover their power. Started posting videos. Ladies, don't let a man define your worth. Your glow-up starts when you say goodbye to what no longer serves you. Each clip had under 200 views. No likes, no comments, no clients. Just her, alone in her kitchen, filtered into oblivion, pretending she still had an audience. Meanwhile, my life was finally quiet. Not empty. Quiet. I was working again, full-time. A mid-sized logistics firm in Oregon hired me after a referral from Ramon. Remote role, senior pay, full autonomy. I didn't have to deal with office politics anymore, just results. I moved into a new apartment. Nothing fancy, but it had space and a little balcony where I could sit, with Chief, my rescue mutt. Big, lazy, snored like an old truck. Perfect. I didn't date. Not because I was bitter, because I was peaceful. And I wasn't about to give that up for someone who thought brunch photos and matching robes made a relationship. Then one afternoon I saw her. I was walking through Cherry Creek with Chief. She was coming out of a juice bar holding a plastic cup full of green sludge and looking at her phone like the world owed her an apology. She looked thinner, paler, makeup heavier than it used to be. Dressed up, but not expensive. Trying hard to look effortless. She glanced up, saw me, froze. Her mouth opened just slightly. Not in shock, more like surprise that I wasn't the one who looked broken. She smiled. Andrew? I nodded once, nothing more. Then kept walking. She turned to look just for a second, but I didn't stop, because there was nothing left to say. No point in closure with someone who never truly opened. That night, I sat on the balcony with Chief curled at my feet. The sky was pink and gold over the Rockies, like something out of a painting. I poured a glass of bourbon and thought about how far I'd fallen, and how much farther I'd climbed back. People say revenge doesn't fix anything, but they're wrong. It doesn't fix the past, but it sure as hell fixes the balance. Travis, gone, unhireable, under investigation. Last I heard, he was trying to start a consulting business from his condo, but the lawsuits made that tough. Emily, alone, rejected, reduced to generic quotes and filtered selfies. Me? I didn't win the lottery, but I got my name back, my self-respect, my peace. And most importantly, I never became like them. I didn't lie. I didn't cheat. I didn't destroy anyone who didn't hand me the match. I just opened the window and let the fire breathe.